wonderful to be able to talk about my friend Ivan, who I've known for over 20 years. It was great just getting to know him. And before I knew what was happening, I saw him there on the stage leading praise and worship with such passion. And if I remember correctly, there were over 1,000 people in that Shamiana that morning worshiping God with such incredible passion. But the guy who was leading us was Ivan. I said, wow. And you know, that rich voice of his with Melanie accompanying him, those were heady days in which we saw the presence of God come down. We got together because we were part of pastors in the city. As we talked, Ivan used to blow my mind. I discovered that he was led by God, and he shared this rather, if I can say with understatement. The church in Bombay did not have unity of this kind, of a kind that could be called unity. We were basically churches all operating on our own. This was the first step. And that's when I began to meet Ivan every Monday. And what came out of that meeting, what I remember, was Ivan's passion for unity. A brilliant idea that he came up with, which I believe was inspired by the Holy Spirit.
So what I did was I drew this map of Bombay, and I divided this map into different stations consisting of prominent buildings, 4 miles apart, 4 miles. And I asked people from the residential area, this is the residential area, to assemble at these prominent buildings, whichever is nearest to them. And so you had people from these neighboring places, and you had about, say, 50 people assembling here, and 40 assembling here, and 60 assembling here, and etc. You had all these different people assembling at different places. So, you know, people from this area would go this place or this place. These people from this area would go here or here. And so you had people assembling into, you know, between 6 o'clock and 6:30 in these prominent buildings, outside these prominent buildings. And we had about 1,400 intercessors doing that. And they could assemble, and between 6 o'clock and 6:30, they would pray together, just thank God, worship God for a while. And between 6:30 and 7:30, they would break up in twos and walk along the perimeter. 50% would walk south, and 50% would walk north. 50% south, 50% north. 50% south, north, 50% south. And so, and they would walk for 2 miles and meet the other group that was walking the other way for 2 miles. And they would meet at the center. And so within 1 hour, the whole perimeter was walked. And that's how we walked the whole perimeter.
And soaking the church, the city in prayer. I believe this went a long way towards Bombay seeing peace for many, many, many years. And also we saw blessings overflowing into the churches, because people from various backgrounds began to be saved and born again.
In 1 hour, and I used to give them sheets to pray, and they would pray according to it, and they could pray in their own style, in their own language, and it was very popular. And so you had people from different churches and different language groups coming and joining together in this perimeter prayer walk. We did it for 3 years, every month.
In addition to this, Ivan came out with a very, very well-researched booklet on Mumbai to stir up the churches to pray for Mumbai. It was a booklet outlining the history of Mumbai, as well as giving hard facts of the who's who of Mumbai, and outlining prayer points for various aspects of the city, like its social life, its underworld, its administration, its police, the judiciary, the politicians, you name it, everything was comprehensively covered. And we use this often in church prayer times, but we also use it for joint prayer times. This was something Ivan championed for many years and held us in very good stead. It was entirely his initiative and his leadership that led us to to galvanize prayer in this way. We are very grateful to him for this. And also, he is a pastor to pastors. May God bless him and wish him all the best in all that he's doing.